This game can't even make a new enemy feel impactful because the new enemy shows up and he's just the same enemy you've been fighting, but has a skull on his health bar.
It just gets weirder and weirder. Pretty dark in here. Too dark.
Well, this evokes a visual, doesn't it? But these are clearly pods for like bodies to be in. It looks like they're all empty apparently. But obviously this is supposed to look like Ilos, right? Ilos was the name, right? Yeah. This is a remix. Oh, there's some Angarans here. Yeah, this is blatantly a remix of the planet where you search for the beacon and stuff in Mass Effect 1 and find the remnants of the Protheans and Vigil. Monstrous fungi, organism best described in Milky Way terms as a giant mushroom. A deeper analysis indicates similarities are purely visual. It bears almost no similarity to the fungal organisms of the Milky Way. That there is one of the many lazy moments of writing in this game. It's like, this game is about exploring an entire galaxy completely unlike our own. We're supposed to be exploring the unknown. The very premise of this game is to scream at the player the concept of unbridled and unchecked creativity, newness, innovation, novelty. Boom. Forever. And what can they think of? They make a big mushroom, and then when you scan it, it's like, actually, it's not a mushroom. It's a crazy alien mushroom that's unlike mushrooms in every conceivable way, except for the part where we have to actually make it. And they don't even say what's different about it. They don't say what's different about it. They just make something that's familiar and call it new. Which is what this entire game has done. This entire premise is about innovation and novelty, and this in Microcosm shows how that fails and why it failed this entire game. Because they said we were gonna have a new adventure in a new galaxy where new things happen. It was to be a bold new direction for the Mass Effect franchise. But instead, we're just another chosen one saving another universe from another all-encompassing super race of enemies that wants to indoctrinate and assimilate everybody. And they need to find the ancient technology mega thing floating in space that's gonna stop them. And nothing fucking symbolizes that like being in basically the type of area that we got to at the end of Mass Effect 1. All over again. More of them telling us something old is new. Like a mushroom in space that's not a mushroom in space. Don't call it a mushroom. Because it's not a mushroom. It's just all we had to do was model a mushroom and put it in our video game, and then just create a text document that says it's not a mushroom, and not explain how it's not a mushroom. Just say it's not a mushroom. Just say it's new. Give them familiar old things and call it new. That's almost like innovating. Except it's not even remotely innovative. It's not what it is. It's not what this is. Ah!
What the hell?
Translating. Pattern 1-3. Viability 56.2%. Genetic template transmitted for testing.
They were doing things to the Angara.
Is this dialogue for real? We were doing things to the Angara. How could it be? It's almost all that's ever happened. Oh no, we're talking about the Remnant though, aren't we? The idea is the Remnant were also experimenting on the Angara, so are we just gonna find out that the Remnant created the Ket out of the Angara in the first place or something?
Looks like they were running experiments of some kind.
We have to save them. Get them out somehow.
Jarl, Pathfinder, they cannot be saved.
What?
I have analyzed the glyphs. These are not the Angara we know. They are not even alive.
I don't understand. They look so...
The Remnant language refers to these bodies as genetic templates.
A blueprint. Like the plants we saw.
The Angara? We came from here? They created us? Why?
So the suggestion here is that the Angara were created from scratch in the first place, and so these are the failed Angara that weren't viable, apparently. Interesting. It's actually a decent idea for the Angara in history. Why are they wearing clothes, though? Like, if you're gonna mass-produce these genetic clones or genetic experiments and keep breeding, not breeding them necessarily because they were just mixing genes, but they're gonna keep growing these organisms in tubes over and over again until they get the ones that are viable. Why would they mass-produce clothing to put on all of them? It makes it look like they're kidnapped people. It actually directly contradicts the story they're trying to tell here, because it makes it look like these are a bunch of Angaran that were kidnapped by the Kett or something like that and thrown in tubes because they're fully clothed. But instead, they're apparently genetic experiments being created from scratch, and is the origin of the Angara, which we arrived upon as being the answer very quickly, apparently. Like, immediately we're accepting of this, apparently. But they all mass-produce clothes for their clones that are in test tubes or whatever? Like, why? If they're not even going to be viable. Like, that's... You don't view them as things that deserve modesty yet if you're willing to genetically create them from scratch and throw them away thousands and thousands and thousands of times.
Maybe they intended the Angara for some purpose that was never fulfilled.
And what does that mean for the Angara? For me? This is big. Too big. The Moshai. We have to tell her about this. She'll know what to do.
Meridian creates life. And the Archon could use it to do the opposite. Destroy everything.
It's up to us to make sure that doesn't happen.
If we crack Meridian's controls first, we make sure the Archon can't use it.
It was definitely the right call. Definitely the right call to bring Jaw on this mission, wasn't it? Holy crap.
You okay, Joe? Learning stuff about where you come from can really shake a person up.
I'll be all right. It helps to know I have the support of friends like you.
Yeah, I got your back.
The only way that the party composition could be better, I think, is if we could somehow have a grunt-type character to bring along in the crew. Someone who actually was artificially created in the history of Mass Effect characters. Why are they wearing clothes? That's gonna weigh on me for a bit. What the fuck? That's really weird. That's like actively strange.
The entire city's coming back to life. Interesting. That pool was hiding a lab down there. This was what it was like before everything got messed up.
This was a lab?
One tower online and one more to go.
Testing report 93. Selected skill appears well suited to the biology. Chosen imprecise alt heirs generation. Discovered multiple applications, a large percentage of them completely independently. Director considers the test a success. 89.1% accuracy. In the Remnant language. Remnant polymer. So this is 80-something% accuracy, but they're apparently empty.
What is all this?
This organism appears to be held in stasis, Pathfinder. What data I can find refers to a plant as a prototype, a blueprint.
Huh, genetic experimentation.
Stasis pod contains what can best be described as a giant egg. It is unclear whether the egg is incubating or if it will at some point hatch. Tina. Unknown organism. So the suggestion is that all of Andromeda is artificial, potentially. Which would potentially explain why the same organisms are on every planet. Unfortunately, that doesn't explain why they had to make a game where the same organisms are on every planet, making them feel homogenized and boring. But explaining it is at least a thing. I don't want to fight you again. Bye. I'm gonna see if I can just leave. I'm so tired of fighting Mr. Orbman. He was a cool fight like the first 2 times, then they came in and showed up like 17 more times.
We're not gonna last much longer.
And he's just like an irritating tank enemy. We won't last much longer. I'm leaving the fight.
Close to one of those towers. We need to activate both to reach Meridian's core.
Wow. They actually let me skip the fight. I didn't know if they'd let me get away with that.
Okay,
Cool.
just need to bring one more tower online.
Maybe we'll find another revelation like, oh my god, the Asari were made in Andromeda too! Surprise! Ow. What was hitting me? Is Boss Man chasing me around the oh, Jesus! That wasn't very nice. Gotta hide between shots, basically. There we go. Everyone shoot the turret. Shoot the dumb turret till it dies. It's genuinely dangerous. There we go. I know I was being overly reductive when I talked about enemy types. There's not literally 3 enemies in the game. Like, there's turrets, and there's nullifiers and architects. But the gulf between 3 and Andromeda is so big. And it shouldn't be possible for it to be that big, frankly.
I promise.
This is unbelievable. I wish we had time to really dive in.
Detecting low levels of power, Pathfinder. A scan may help identify conduits.
Wow, I think that's fried. Will it even work?
I have no idea. Ask Sem.
Damage to parts of the system are preventing power up.
Can we reroute past the damage?
That may work, Pathfinder. Boosting trace signals.
Some kind of glyph on this thing. Looks like part of some kind of pattern.
Scan it, please, the red thing. Please scan the red thing. Red means scannable. Not gonna work. Alright, well, let's press buttons.
Let's see about rerouting the power past. Shoot.
That triggered Remnant defenses, Pathfinder.
You don't say. It appears that there's a mechanical puzzle here I need to figure out. Is it just one dude? Yep.
Must have messed up the power reroute. Need to follow the pattern. I see the conduits. Some kind of pattern here.
Security node. Remains online. Buster renewal. Storage pattern. Vault suitable worlds found. Calibration for ideal conditions. Status complete. So I just need to click on them in the order that the zigzag comes to them or something? Like just literally just zigzag across?
Oops.
Incoming hostile.
Apparently not. I don't know if I know what's going on here. Oh well.
One more try at rerouting this power.
Okay, so let's start from here then. Oh, hi. Wow, it's a water purifier, and it's the drive core of the Remnant ship. What's it doing here? Let's start from this side of the zigzag.
Nice.
That was correct. Okay, so I zigzag from this side then, apparently.
Excellent.
Excellento. I'm not sure how we even know that that sounds a good sound in Remnant culture, but cool.
Seems to be working.
I think that's it.
Ba-doom.
The primary console should work now, Pathfinder. Provisional repairs are complete, Pathfinder.
Only one way to know for sure.
Translating. Flight control systems online. Welcome, Administrator.
I don't like this. We should get out of here.
Restoring the systems appears to have reactivated something else nearby.
I can see that, Sam, and I don't think it's good.
Translating. Exploration vessels on standby. We have seen Remnant ships, but none in working condition. It says it cannot retrieve commands from the Meridian engine.
Meridian engine. Sam, do you know what? They're going to be trouble.
Restoring power woke up the Remnant.
Oh, there's a destroyer.
I detect a surge of energy on the scans. The section you're in lit up like Mardi Gras.
What's in Mardi Gras?
What's going on? Are you all...
Can't talk right now!
Where are the... Where's the cat? What? The cat... That cutscene was like, look, the cat are coming and they're gonna cat you. They're gonna cat you, huh? And then the Remnant fought us? What? That was a weird, strange setup. Also, we get our usual sci-fi trope of, it's a giant energy beam in the sky! Whoa, science tech! So sci-fi. Definitely wears on you a little bit, especially when it also evokes a visual from, the endings of 3, which is not what I want to think about right now. Just gonna keep working on you until you stop moving, if you don't mind. Ow. Rude. Blind fire for win. There we go. Where's the cat at? Oh, hi. Oh. Oh, 2 of you in one spot, huh? You can only really nullify my attacks if you use a shield. Doesn't work on charge, but it would at least work on lance. But instead they were just standing there. I'm like, well, that's not going to save you.
We're good. The Ket are probably waiting out there for us. So stay alert.
Of course.
Here we go! Of all things happening in the climax, I do generally like the idea of finding out the Angarans are an artificial race. Not that, well, I mean, they're organic, but like they're artificially created. Like, that's actually a cool development. Although I'm so baffled by the fact that they were wearing clothes. Why were they wearing clothes?
So that should get us into the command hub, right?
Alright, 2 towers going. Should get us into Meridian's main control room.
Oh, so that camera angle must have been cutting to those Ket going towards wherever we're going next from activating these 2 things. Probably. Yeah, I'm not making that jump. Oh, wait, maybe you. Like, if you dress Ket... If you dress people up like that on one level, it's like it's creepy because you're... It's wasteful because you're dressing up things that you're going to just throw away as you keep doing the experiments over and over again. And also, they're not alive, so it's also, like, wasteful and creepy. Because, like, they're not a living creature yet, and there's not any modesty to be had, because you're literally creating them from scratch, so you already know everything about them anyway, so the modesty isn't an element there, but also they're not alive.
They can't beat us here.
The concept of modesty doesn't really apply to it. It's essentially the equivalent of, like, a flesh doll that you haven't given life to yet. It's a weird setup. Oh, a destroyer.
Forgot about the Remnant, didn't you, assholes?
So both of the giant things showed up in one place. Fight each other! Fiend versus Destroyer! Or they could just stare at each other. Can you guys fight now? Please? Come on, what's the point of this? Wait. why are those two things in the same room if they're not gonna fight each other? That's like the whole reason you'd bother. Screw it. Bye. There's nullifiers and stuff here. Can't nullify this. Gotcha. Wow, that's a lot of nullifiers stacked up in one spot, actually. Oh, there's the fiend. Charged ya. He's already half dead. Ow. Tried to charge around him. Whoopsie. Please die. Whoop. There you go.
Tell the Archon he's next.
The giant guy's still over there, but he didn't come here, so maybe I can just skip him. Bye. I like skipping enemies in a warfare situation where a bunch of enemies are fighting each other at once, and you're like one of 3 factions instead of 2. Just because it kind of feels like you're actually crossing a battlefield, as opposed to winning one. Because winning a battlefield isn't really the goal; it's just to get across one.
Pathfinder, I am quickly building a workable database of the Remnant language. We have not encountered instances of it in such abundance before.
At least they're explaining it. Here we are. Well, this room looks awfully important, doesn't it? You can tell it's important because it has a vertical laser in it, and that's sci-fi for important.
Finally.
What is that structure? We saw it from space.
So if I point the scanner at the vertical space laser, that means that important stuff's happening, and I scan it. Can I make a vertical space laser for my ship? 'Cause I want a vertical space laser in my ship. After all, it's the important place. Why doesn't it have a vertical space laser?
Translating. Connection lost. Meridian engine not found.
Sam, is there damage here? Can we restore systems like we did before?
I'm sorry, Pathfinder. Systems are intact, but they are searching for a component that doesn't appear to exist.
What do you mean doesn't appear to exist?
One moment, Pathfinder. I have found something. Translating. Final administrator log. The opposition's weapon may cause widespread damage. All our weapons, our ships, will not be able to protect us. Protect my goal. We need to disengage Meridian from Command Core, which will remain here to draw fire. Meridian contains all the work of the Jardan. Nothing else matters. I will send it far. We can return one day. Continue the process of renewal. End of log.
The Archon was wrong. This isn't Meridian. Meridian is gone.
There must be some way to recall it. We gotta move now!
Get ready. We're getting out of here. Sam, find me another exit, away from the cat!
There is no other exit, Pathfinder. However, the Remnant city is not without defenses, and this is its central command.
Remnant defenses, of course. Use them against the cat. Sam!
Archon wants that one. Destroy the rest.
Okay, credit where credit's due. That was a cool-looking space fight scene.
I can still smell that Ket stench.
The cool-looking space battle scene, and cool developments about the Angara, and finding out that they're artificial, and that the thing that created them was under attack and fled the area, maybe the galaxy, or the system, or some other chunk of area. It fled one way or another. And then we need to figure out where the hell that thing went. It also, which as a result is kind of developing elements, perhaps, of the Remnant, which maybe we'll learn something about them now. Because we still know, like, nothing about the Remnant, which is actively frustrating because they're one of the 3 enemy types in the game, practically. Or one of the 3 factions, I mean. And so having that faction not be developed can be frustrating. Because otherwise they're just a faceless enemy. They largely feel like the artificial creatures.
Talk about it later. Deal with the Ket first.
The issue with the Ket, I mean the Remnant, is that they feel like, whoa, his head came clean off. The Remnant feel just like the what are they called? God damn it, what are they called? The Sentinels from Halo, is what they feel like. But the problem is the Sentinels had 343 Guilty Spark. They had a voice, which was a character that had elements of personality and drive and goal and stuff like that. Like the 343 is a character, and the Remnant have not had a character, which is frustrating because, well, they're not a random side thing. They're like a primary driving force of the entire campaign, and they need some kind of character to make them feel worthwhile. Otherwise, you spend the majority of the game slowly dealing with this completely faceless organization that has identical buildings and identical goals and identical structures on every planet and stuff. Let's not use the issue array. Let's use my shotgun. Whoop. Uh-oh. Quick recharge. Space revolver. Amusing. Let's switch to my shotgun. Ow.
Think you're so sneaky, don't you?
Not really sneaky, no.
And don't forget the rest of those Ket.
I kind of just goofed off a little bit too much, honestly. There we go. Clear. I ran out of assault rifle rounds, and that kind of threw off my mojo. Oh, hi. Your shields are back up. Moderately frustrating. Almost down. There we go.
Ground team, is everyone all right?
Everyone accounted for.
We saw everything from orbit. It was incredible. The entire city lit up. The scans went wild.
And Ryder, the Ket are retreating. Whatever you did, it worked.
A full retreat? That's a relief to hear.
Any progress on Meridian? Have you got it working yet?
This isn't Meridian. Or at least not all of it. Hard to explain. We'll brief you later. So Meridian's gone. But shouldn't this thing know the nav point of where it went?
Contact with the Scourge will have altered Meridian's original path. It would take countless years to determine its current location.
If it takes years, then it takes years. People are relying on me.
This can't take years. We find another way.
Sam, can you see anything else in here? Any kind of data that could be a clue?
Nothing immediately obvious, Pathfinder, but I will continue my investigations.
Well, if the Scourge is messing things up, maybe that's where we should look.
What are you thinking, kid?
I was actually hoping one of you might continue the thought.
You heard Kello. The Ket are running from us.
That just means we need to push forward before they can recover. We have to find Meridian. The real one. Sam, collect all the data you can. Radio the Tempest for extraction. This is going to take work. And it's going to take all of us.